Hey guys, my name's Jamie Schmidt. I'm a DBT therapist and mental wellness coach based out of Houston, Texas. I'm super excited today to be starting my 8-week DBT Skills for the Holidays series. DBT stands for Dialectical Behavior Therapy. It was originally written as a treatment for borderline personality disorder. However, it's been found to be effective across a wide variety of mental health issues. One of the things that makes DBT so effective is that it has this skills manual component. And the manual provides a framework for dealing with any situations in life involving emotions. Which, guess what? That tends to be all of them. And so it's by incorporating these skills, which our clients learn in a classroom format, that really helps them to make these huge changes in their lives. So what I've done is I've taken these skills and selected a brief amount of them to overview for how we can apply them to the holidays. The holidays being whatever you celebrate at this time of year. I may say Thanksgiving or Christmas, but these situations I'm talking about tend to be across all cultures because the situations are about being more involved, having more obligations, and that tends to be relevant to anyone at this time of year. So jumping right in, we're going to start with the idea of dialectics. Dialectics is the thought that opposing forces can exist in the same space, and while they seem like they could not both be true, they can. For example, the primary dialectic in therapy is acceptance versus change. The idea that you must first accept what is going on right now before you can then move towards changing what has to happen to have the life you want to live. For the holidays, this dialectic tends to be love and hate. That we find great things about this time of year that we look forward to. I love family events. I love Christmas lights, the decorations, making cookies with my kiddo, Christmas morning. Those are wonderful, wonderful things that I look forward to all year round. I also tend to hate this time of year because by mid-December, I'm pretty depleted. I've got a lot going on in life generally, and then you add on typically about another full load of responsibilities, right? Like life becomes almost twice as demanding for this last 6 weeks of the year. And so many of us find ourselves at this place where like by December 22nd, I'm like, I'm done. I don't want to do this. You and the kid can go have fun. Just let me stay in bed for a week. Like that's all I want to do. I'm tapped out. And so my skills component is to help y'all see that maybe we can start doing some things differently now. And then as the holidays progress, that things will be easier and slightly less at that hatred point by the end of the season. That's the goal at least. So for today, what we're going to talk about is vulnerability factors. Vulnerability factors are any pre-existing conditions that make you less likely to be successful in any given interaction or event. So for the holidays, I think these tend to fall under like one of 5 categories. And watch, because many of you will say that like, oh yeah, I have vulnerability factors in all 5 of these. It's not uncommon that there are like multiple things going on that make this such a stressful time of year. And so why we start out with vulnerability factors is that we first have to be mindful of them. We have to know where our weak points are if we want to change things moving forward. And so that's where we're at today. So what are our 5 categories? The first one is family. So all these wonderful holiday events tend to mean increased interaction face-to-face with family. And while most of us love our family, it also tends to be another situation with dialectics, right? They can bring out some negative emotions in us as well. Many of us have like extended family that have different political views than us and have no problem telling us over our Thanksgiving dinner why we're dumb or how we voted 2 weeks ago was wrong. Or meddling in-laws that we've just never really gotten along with, but they were a package deal with our spouse. There are lots of ways that family interactions can get under your skin this time of year. So that's number 1. Number 2, overspending. So after Thanksgiving, what do we immediately do? We go to Black Friday and we drop thousands of dollars. And for many of us, like if we blindly spend this time of year or we get caught on that like shiny thing, you know, I gotta have the new now shiny thing. We'll look back at the end of December and we've dug a hole and we're starting the new year in a hole because we haven't had checks and balances in our money from the beginning. Number 3, calorie binging. So all these wonderful meals tend to come with extra fat. Butter and cream and chocolate and sugar. And if you're like me and you deal with your weight, you've got to be careful about what you consume. This has so many opportunities for mindless munching. And just like the finances, this is a thing where you wake up and it's January 1st now and you're like you've dug yourself a hole for 2 months, and so you've added 20 pounds. So now like you're at a place of like, I was already wanting to lose weight, and now I've got this extra holiday weight to lose. So it's one of those things that like if we are mindful throughout the season, we can prevent that like January 1st. Fourth one is really the biggest one for me, and that's this idea of depletion. That we overcommit, we commit to things that we don't want to do, we go to events that don't really bring us joy, but we feel obligated to, and every day or every weekend we're doing this all the time, and then we're not doing anything to rebuild our coffers. That like we're taking and taking and taking out, and nothing's going back in to make us more likely to be productive. And so this like, I'm just empty. There's nothing left to give because I've given it all, and I've stood in line, and I've fought with crowds, and I've dealt with unhappy employees, and there's just nothing. And I think really for most of us, it's probably our biggest vulnerability factor is like this lack of balance between self-care and what we're committed to at this time of the year. The final vulnerability category is past trauma. For many people, the holidays can be a really rough time. Whether you've lost a loved one at the holidays, or it's harder to deal with not having a loved one there for the holidays, or for me and a lot of my teen kiddos that I work with, like we came from divorce houses, and so we have a lot of FOMO. Like, oh, if I go to dad's family, well, I miss getting to see my cousins do that silly thing that they do, and like that idea that I don't quite have control over where I'm going, and I don't know which one's going to be the good one this year, and what if I choose the wrong one, and then I miss out on all the great memories. So there's a lot of like past stuff that can come up at the holidays too, and so those are your 5 categories. Those are the things that we've got to look for starting out is where am I most vulnerable this year? So if you want to do a little journaling on this, I've created a handout that you can go grab from my website, jamieschmidtlpc.com. It covers this topic as well as all the ones we're going to cover on the upcoming videos. I hope you enjoyed this today, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next week.